Hey guys, it's me T coming at you with a reading for the day. Hopefully it'll give you some answers. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alrighty. Alright. So, excuse me. Alright, today is Saturday, July 30th. And it is exactly 11:43 amen, which is I love you. And so this could be in regards to love. And I love the universe. That's all I gotta say. No matter what the fuck we go through, I will always unconditionally love the universe. And so, long story short, I just wanted to bring you some good vibes in terms of answers, and also having to do with helpful people and travel. Okay? Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so highest and best. Is this the highest best yang card? Alright, let me get a better. Okay, highest best yang card. Highest best yin card. Perfect. If my phone goes off in the background, I'm sorry. Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, cool. So this is a very big deal in terms of, and I felt like the energies transition like from yesterday into today. Which was a little like uneven. It was like a little like I guess uneven keeled, if that makes any sense. And so long story short, give me 1 second. Okay. And so long story short, it's just really good to see these cards. So the yin card of the day is success, which is brilliant. And the yang card of the day is reconsider. Now, it's very interesting because, again, these are coming through very traditional in terms of yin card being kind of like girly, and then the yang card being kind of like a lot masculine. It's not kind of, it is. Both are taking on their own energies, which is pretty awesome. And so long story short, what I wanted to say is so in the morning, if you felt like you needed to do something that was kind of against the grain a little bit, and you actually followed through on it, I want to just tell you that you have reached a level of success. And what I have tuned into from another reader, they said it perfectly. They said, you have reached a level of, I'm going to just say mastering, because I forgot what exactly she used, but basically it was like a graduation, like your A-team is congratulating you. So this reading right here for the collective is honestly pretty cool, because it confirms that you've reached a level of success of which you may not even fucking know about, okay? So this could be also, you know, this could be internal, this could be invisible. You know, I always say it's so interesting here on Earth, is like, here on Earth, a part of the Earth School is like, when you go to do something right, but then you feel so fucking horrible about it, that's still success. Like, I don't, like, so, cause it's very hard to do. People like don't realize like how hard it is to do, you know what I'm saying? But the whole thing is, it's like there's a mastery to it after you do it, you know, consistently, consecutively, habitually, discipliningly, like all that jazz. It's like when you're, it's basically standing up for yourself, or standing up for what it is that you think is in the right and the accurate and the correct at that moment in time, and just coming out of your innocence, I think, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel very highly, very grateful for this card today, because I had to do something earlier on today, and hence this is so interesting. Like, everything is kind of working out really amazingly, because I thought I was coming on late, because I like to do these more so like in the mornings, if not like, the day before. But more so the mornings have been kicking in, but this is like late morning in terms of where I'm living. So, and not that it kind of matters, because, time, what they say, and I don't know if I've wrapped my mind around it, and I have to also release that aspect of wrapping my mind around something, because of the fact that there's a lot of shit here you don't have to fucking understand in order to be a part of, okay? So my whole thing is, it's like, and when I say that, I mean, people can, and I like to be very much so in terms of, okay, like, decluttering, and that comes with like a lot of like understanding. Like, I like to understand a lot of stuff, and if I don't understand it, I don't kind of use it, you know what I'm saying? But I have to kind of stop being black and white with that, because of the fact that, there's so many things that we don't understand. Like, we don't understand how any of the stuff around us is created, for instance, right? From the process, A to Z. We don't understand it. We literally just go out, we consume, we buy it, and we fucking use it. And that's basically what it is. No one, like, it's rare. It's very rare where you ask, like, oh, where do these screws come from? Or, like, what factory makes these screws? Like, it just is what it is. Like, sometimes things are just generalized. So that's what I'm just trying to say. Like, I think I have to kind of get rid of that aspect of having to understand. So I'm releasing and letting that go in order to participate in something, right? So yeah, sometimes we don't understand shit, but like the thing is, sometimes we're also not supposed to understand shit, in terms of also, like, when they say there's a reason for everything, sometimes that reasoning doesn't come to us. We just have to understand that it just is what it is, at that moment in time. I don't know why I'm going into it, but I just feel like somebody has to release something of which maybe they're feeling guilty for, or maybe they're feeling like unsure about, when it comes to decision making in their life, and like releasing what they have to release, and that type of thing. So the thing here is just like, just embrace the success. There's success in the air, and and there's freedom in the air. There goes my phone. It's gonna do it again, because I need to be reminded every like 10 minutes, and I don't know how to fix it. Or maybe I do know how to fix it, I just never went in there and fixed it. But what was I gonna say? The thing is, the success is in the air. Success has been done in terms of what you needed to do for yourself and your self-love. Self-love is a huge lesson being learned in these I'm going to say full moon energies that came through yesterday. And we're in Leo season, which is all about love and definitely self-love, because of the fact that self-love, we always everybody likes to say in terms of astrology that the Leos just love themselves, and they just, they like fucking shine. They love shining, right? And it's, I'm going to just say it's goddamn beautiful, because of the fact that, amen, they really need to shine. The song that has been coming through too, has been, Lizzie, and in one of her songs, I forgot what song it is. The song is, when I think the lyric goes, when I shine, everybody shines. And that's kind of like what the theme is, as of recently, is like, that's basically it. It's like Leo shines are coming out, but also, interestingly enough, with the astrology going on for today, actually, did I say full moon before? I meant new moon. So the new moon actually has a lot of the Leos that are born now, like wanting to be like seen and heard, and and paid attention to, but also are very like kind of sort of introverted. Like, they just like, it's like see me but then don't see me, right? And so not all Leos are introverted, right? And or extroverted, that's what I meant to say. A lot of them, especially now with the new moon, they definitely kind of want to shine, I'm going to say they want to shine bright, but maybe behind the scenes or at night, right? When there's like nothing happening. So, that's just something that's coming through. And that's fine too, because that again is a success, right? So that's the whole thing that's like coming about, in terms of the yin cards. But there is like there's like for sure flyingness happening. And I mean that maybe in just lightheartedness, like lightweightness, but also maybe in terms of swag, like when you're like feeling like when you're feeling fly in what you're wearing fashion wise. It's such a good feeling, and that's probably coming through too. So yeah, fly on all levels, you know, just really feeling free. Freedom is what I meant to say earlier, in case I didn't say it earlier. And yeah, so there is a flying freedom going on in terms of, maybe you also feel really fly in terms of your freedom. Like maybe you feel really good when you have the freedom to do whatever the fuck it is that you want. Which is beautiful, because I feel like, and when I say that, I also mean like disciplined wise, like people think like, oh, freedom to do anything. It's like, yeah, you have freedom to do anything, but the whole thing is, you know, you have to figure out how to kind of not even limit yourself, but more so like how to deal with such a vastness of, you know, of life. Like for instance, like and maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. I don't know. I haven't really put thought into it, but what's coming to mind is kind of like, you know, when we have a boat, for instance, or even a car, but let's just take a boat. A boat is kind of compact in accordance to the freedom of the ocean, right? So it's like you're free to go wherever the fuck you want, but the whole thing is, it's like you have to navigate the waters of the vastness according to the weather, according to like, so basically you have to check into the weather, you have to have the knowledge to, like, you know, kind of be on the water. You have to make sure that you're prepared to be on the water. Your boat, for instance, also in a different light or different aspect, is not as wide as or as big as the ocean. Like it isn't, you know? So it's like, so in a sense you're kind of limited, but you also have to kind of know what it is that you're doing, so to be beneficial to yourself and your self-love, if that makes any sense. Like for instance, gas is crazy expensive for boats. People don't know that. Some people don't know that. I feel like a lot of people do, but some people don't know that. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to have some sort of, you know, quote unquote one track mind, one mission to kind of get to and to go to. And if it's not one mission, it's like one tour. You know, you have to kind of know where the fuck it is that you're going, so that you can kind of, you know, work with the freedom of the ocean and just get there, you know? But so I don't know if that's like a good one, but I just feel like that came through. So it's kind of like, you know, we think we have a lot of freedom, and freedom is really good, but also freedom can be debilitating when I don't know, it can go either way. Debilitating when you think way too fucking big, or when you think way too fucking small, right? Like that could be, both could be debilitating. So my whole thing is, definitely just don't, it's a good thing to have your escapades and to explore and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. That's definitely coming through today as well, on a like extra minor scale, so extra yin scale. Also, you know, as I said minor, I felt like I was about to sing a song, and I don't know what song, but I just felt like the action of singing could be really good for you today, in terms of just expressing and freeing yourself, freeing your soul, uplifting your soul. Also, I don't know, if you want to eat yellow foods, that's really good for you today. I see a lot of yellow coming through in terms of like, I feel like as though, this is really interesting, I feel as though the sun is on your side, which means that it's like double success is on your side. So it's kind of like, having success already be there, but since you're choosing success with your quote-unquote yellow wings, because this is what the angel has in this card deck, or on this card, it's like these yellow wings to fly. It's like she knows she has the sun and, I'm going to say, the universe and the earth, like, kind of by her side, so she can do all this she can do all this crazy shit with being successful, right? The colors here are purple and yellow, also, that are coming through, which is highly, what's it called? It's like high vibes. It's royalty. It's a big deal. So, it's spirituality. It's will. It's a third eye. It's the sun, sun vibes. So, and the sun in the tarot deck is success. So it's kind of like there's this doubleness coming through. Oh, and maybe even a tripleness, because in the corners of this card, and I'm going to say in the helpful people and travel area of this card, which is today, there are golden nuggets coming through. And I feel like these golden nuggets are coming through the galaxy. They're like kind of like trickling down onto you. They're like sparkles, if anything, So, yeah, they're like golden nuggets. So, I don't know, you might want to eat chicken nuggets today because they're the golden nuggets. That would be kind of cool, right? Kind of cool to celebrate your success. So, something along those lines. Remember when I said eat yellow? So maybe golden chicken nuggets are a part of that yellow. That would be funny. But that's how I personally live my life. I love living my life that fun. And that meaningful, and that just on target, and it's just because it's so cute. It's so hilarious to me, and it's so fun. So it's so lighthearted, amen. And amen to lighthearted success today, Moving on to the masculine card here, he is coming through, so the word is reconsider. And it's the yang card, so it could be on an outer level. It can be on an outer level. It can be on an outer level in terms of outside of you, where a masculine, and I'm going to just take the cards as is. So I'm going to say there's a masculine coming through that is actually large and in charge. And I'm going to say a lot of Archangel Michael vibes coming through with the sword, with the blue, with the, he's definitely, I want to say a sense of protection, okay? There's a sense of protection on a yang scale that is kind of, remember how I said, in the yin card, it's like you have the sun and you have the sun, I'm going to say sun and moon, and earth and all the planets and all the angels by your side in terms of making the successful decision that you made, even though it might not feel that way. It was more so for your values, to free yourself up, to kind of go with what you got clarity with when it comes to life in and of itself. So you're kind of like, okay, we're doing this, we're just gonna, make these decisions. You know what I'm saying? I also feel like a lot of people, I'll get into that later. But my whole thing is, when it comes to the yang, card, there is a masculine of a helpful people and travel sort that really has a sword of truth in the center of their body, okay? Which means that I feel like there is some sort of truth coming in, there's a truth being grounded, and it's unified with the third eye, the soul, and then also being kind of, I'm going to say pitched into the ground, as if okay, there's this is the truth and nothing but the truth, right? But the reconsidering is very interesting because on a yang level, I feel like maybe there's things coming back around. Kind of, and it's very interesting because I know that Jupiter is in retrograde, and Jupiter, I don't know if this, I'm not going to say it because I don't know if it's true. But Jupiter being in retrograde, well, I think I might say it. Do I say it? Okay, I'm going to say it. Because I think I read somewhere a long time ago that Jupiter, when it goes into retrograde, it literally leaves gifts behind, right? And Jupiter is the planet of the gift giving, right? And expansion and all that jazz. And like I'm going to say prizes and surprises also. So with this card today, I feel as though there's a divine masculine coming in as a protection. Kind of even sort of how I'm seeing it is like it's the result, because this divine feminine or your divine feminine side went through some sort of success for themselves in terms of self-love. The result now is that they get like a divine masculine coming in to help them, but also it's not even just to help them, it's just like to like, I'm gonna say help them in love. That's what I mean. Because obviously, you know, you can only so many people can only go for so long in terms of being by themselves. So I feel like basically by this person making decisions in the yin level, they basically opened up the door to I'm going to say romantic love coming in for them, like true love coming in for them, so that they can have time, space, and grace and all that jazz to really kind of experience that type of escapade when it comes down to, you know, life and loving life in general. Also, there might be a lot of communication because of the blue. So anytime you go yang, like me going yang with the communication right now, I feel like is pretty awesome, especially when I speak as much truth as possible, you know, all the time. And that's just because a lot of people don't realize it, but it frees your spirit when you do that. Even though it's very hard to do that in our, you know, in our social culture, because, you know, we might not be liked, or people might not be pleased with what we have to say, or, you know, just that type of thing. It doesn't really matter, because what we put out as truth, which also could be indigo. Maybe there's like an indigo, you know, person coming into your life today, to kind of maybe even sort of back you up on things that like you know of or that you're talking about. You also could be maybe praised in a way. I'm also sensing too that like there might be a person that's working with the divine masculine in terms of healing them. So like if it's like a feminine, you know, putting herself out there, you know, in a way that she did in terms of deciding, you know, for her own self and her own life, like how she was going to live it from now on. It like, because like what she saw like wasn't what she went through wasn't working. I feel as though she's going to heal a lot of divine masculines through her communication of truth, right? So when I say that a lot of people or a lot of masculines are kind of might just be by her side, it's because they are sensing that there's no bullshit there. It's a very clean cut truth. You know, also I think of white and blue as clean cotton, so it's kind of like there's just a fresh vibe there. There's a clean vibe there. Maybe also like a clean cut male is coming through to be reconsidered. I don't know. And if you are the clean-cut male that wants to try to be considered in somebody else's life today, maybe today's the day to actually approach, you know what I'm saying? And that's just like a thought, you know, because maybe there's like just, you know, clean-cut vibes, clean-cut approachness, like an opportunity of approachness there. That makes no sense, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like, more so, it's like an opportunity for you to come in at a high vibrational level, is what I'm trying to say, and make it even better. You know, and And if you could do that, that's amazing, right? Because that is, that would be, like, if you are a high-vibed person in general, and you're approaching a high-vibe person, then that means you're only creating more high vibes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't mean that all the time, but I want to say it means that probably 88% of the time or 85% of the time, right? So like you can possibly nail your nail your pitch to that person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or like I said, your approachness of that person. I never even thought that a pitch and approachness kind of sound the same, but also are kind of the same. So that's really interesting. So maybe this is more so by me talking, it's like freeing up like the fear in the word pitch, you know, like, oh, how am I going to pitch this to her? How am I going to, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because like, it's all about that, but the whole thing is, it's like, the pitch is a scary word. Just like I just realized recently, when somebody says, oh, speech, like, oh, you have to give a speech. It's like, oh, fuck, like, that gets everybody nervous, like, especially their inner child. It's like, oh my God, I have to give a speech, you know? Because it's so formal. It's so, like, out there, you know? And so, but really, it's not even a speech. It's just, like, kind of, just what you would normally say, you know? Like, what you would normally say in that scenario, you know? Or what you are willing to say. So again, and the best speeches and the best, pitchness, I guess, pitches. I'm like making up my own fucking words. The best ones at that are basically the ones that come from the heart, you know, which means that you find it meaningful to be there. You find, you sense, you have a sense of gratitude to be there. Or for being there rather. And so my whole thing is, it's like, come from that aspect of like how you genuinely feel, like in terms of approaching this person, if you are thinking that today's the day to approach a person, you know what I'm saying? And we also have to take, even though success like came on here and we all love success, we kind of have to take success off the table a little bit to basically unify us a little bit, because I feel like sometimes, like, when we approach people thinking they're quote unquote out of our league and this and that, I mean, like, in some ways, yes, that's true, right? But in other ways, it's not. Like, and in the main way, it's not. Like, for instance, I'm going to always go back to that, to the teaching of, like, even successful people, millionaires, billionaires, even people that make thousands at this point is a very big deal. We don't actually ever say that, but to make thousands of dollars in your lifetime, that's a big deal. And so, long story short, the thing is, it's like, we all have to understand that, like, we take off our pants the same way, at the end of the day. And then at the end of the day also, or at the end of our lifetime, we all get, the same, burial opportunities, of which is like, we get either buried in the ground or like we, get cremated. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are your two fucking choices. No one has anything crazier that you do. There's different options, right? But my whole thing is, it's like, those are generally the two options. Like, you all end up dead at the end of this lifetime. So it's like, so basically we're all on the same level. It's just that we don't realize that as we're living life. You know what I'm saying? And that goes with age, that goes with, monetary making, that goes with, a whole bunch of these, like, different scales of, different social scales, but I just want to say that that's the best way to approach somebody, is just to kind of let all of that shit go, like, for it's very interesting. Like, I feel as though, somebody can be very successful in their spirituality, you know what I'm saying? And then other people can be very successful in their you know, in their monetary gains. You know, there's like different ways, like there's different, you know, you could be gifted in terms of a skill, you know, so there's different ways of which you could approach things, and, you know, and you kind of have to simplify it. That's what I mean by taking the success off the table, because you have to kind of simplify it a little bit more so within and of yourself, and also outside of yourself when you're taking somebody else into consideration in terms of approaching, so that you can literally just like make the fucking move. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, so that's just something for you to take into consideration to heal, so that you can not feel as if you're not good enough, you know? Also, what's very interesting is that has been a theme as of late too, where it's like, and I think it's a part of the whole self-love thing, is I am good enough. I'm good enough no matter what. And like, it makes it, I'm literally at the edge of crying, because that has been coming through like automatically to me, as if like, if I fucking think anything different, I could fucking topple over and like crack and crumble, right? And so that kind of came like automatically to me, or was like fed to me through the divine, like I am good enough. Like I have to kind of put that on repeat, because of the fact that, you know, a lot of the times if you're experiencing a lot, and, you know, a lot of rejection, you know, one thing after another, and like nothing's working, like you're obviously dipping, you know, you're dipping low. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And so, long story short, that came through like automatically, like I'm good enough. I know I'm good enough. I love myself. I absolutely love myself. Love, you know, I absolutely love myself. And like to actually mean that shit is super necessary. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people talk about, you know, how they want to, how it's a really good thing to say that stuff to yourself in the mirror, and I'm all about it, but I also think it takes a level of self-love to basically even consider yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Like when, like for instance, like I'll be in the mirror if there's a purpose in the mirror, right? Of which is like makeup, hair and makeup, right? But like, I'm not going to be in the mirror like talking to myself. And the way I talk to myself is more so like when things happen and I'm like, and it's like the smaller successes, and I'm like, yo, good job, T. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? That was so fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really say that shit in the mirror, even though I hopefully one day would love to do that, but I don't. I like more so just kind of do what I have to do in the mirror and like check the fuck out. But the whole thing is, it's like, but God bless those that are able to, you know, like maybe there's a level of me not being able to do that. And that's fine. But also, you know, that's something to work on, maybe to like become more in touch with myself. But you know, as of right now, anything that can get you through it is very important. So do whatever you got to do. If you have to like talk to yourself in the mirror and say, yo, you did a good fucking job today, you know? Like, or if you know, I just, and I'm releasing that right now. Maybe I think that's like kind of sort of batshit crazy a little bit. Like maybe even childlike, which is fine, but also, you know, maybe that's an aspect of childlike-ism that maybe I want back. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I'll call that back, you know? And maybe that's why I haven't been doing that, because I think it's kind of like foolish or childlike or whatever the fuck have you. And, you know, and we're supposed to be like quote unquote mature in this life and all that jazz, which meanwhile I've realized that I'm I'm like a hybrid. So I'm like semi kid-like and semi adult-like, and, you know, and I have to be that for me, myself, and I, but also, you know, outside of me too, where I get to have fun and I get to, you know, do what I need to do for myself in order to feel that way and keep that balance. Because if I don't, like for instance, like I started drinking and I started laughing because I started drinking in the mornings. You know how people drink coffee? I I make myself like a Dunkachino, which is like half coffee, half hot cocoa. Like that's what the fuck I do. And like, especially when I run out of creamer, because I love creamer in my coffee and my tea. But like when I run out of creamer and I have, and there's milk in the house, right? Like basically, I I'm literally so happy to have, you know, the balance of both worlds. Like, I get coffee, I get fucking hot cocoa, which is like my sweet, you know, spot, and then you just add milk to it, so it's like so fucking fun, you know. And that's like who I am, you know, and that's kind of like who I'm always going to be, how I'm always going to be, because I'm like maybe afraid to be one or the other. But at the same time, and that's why I love living small, because I really don't, or I appreciate the living of cute, because I don't have to like keep up with the Joneses. Like, to me, that's like super fucking exhausting. It's already exhausting. Life is already exhausting the way that it fucking is. So I'm like, I'm not gonna keep up with the Joneses. There's no fucking way. There's no way I'm doing that shit. Also, it's like too much clutter in my life. It's too much, like, it's just too much of everything. I'm like, I really have to keep it simple. Also, one thing that I'm gonna say today, it's very big to do today, and I don't know why, but to declutter your clothing would be super beneficial, but also to declutter your refrigerator. I'm gonna just say do that shit every Friday. If not, you know, that's the happy midway. But then also, I would say make sure that whenever you bring something, like if you could do it that every Friday, that's awesome. But if you, even better would be if you bring something into your refrigerator, toss something out that like is not meant to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like clean as you kind of refill it. So that's a big thing to do if you haven't done it already. But also the next step is clothing. Definitely get rid of your clothes. And like, why I brought up clothing is because I feel like I have to, but also I brought it up because to be like a minimalist, like I feel like I've shrunk my clothing to such a degree where I never even thought I would ever get to such a degree of shrinking of the clothing. But I've also been through so much in terms of a lot of life stuff and a lot of things that have taught me different things, that I feel like I'm gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? So and also it's maybe even possibly preparing for something that I love most, which is fashion, right? But even with fashion, clothes piss me off a little bit because of the fact that they're like so like they're so like what is it called? Like not lengthy, but they're so like, I don't know, they're like wobbly. They're just like not like you have to there's so much to it, right? There's so much to it. But the whole thing is, it's like if you really kind of come through and minimize the self-management. Oh, I love how that came out. Minimal self-management. Oh my God, that is definitely going down in the history books of my services. Definitely approach me on that if you want to, because that is phenomenal. Yeah, so if you value that, then you would actually get rid of a lot of your clothes, right? And so basically, and I'm not saying to do that like as much. I mean, I'm saying also, here's what I'm saying, you know, to add to what I was saying before in terms of management, the refrigerator management, clothing management. This is how I do clothing, is literally whenever I wash something, before I go to fold it or hang it. I'm actually a hanger now. I used to be a folder, but not really anymore. Before I go to do anything, basically store the clothes away, I literally I look at what I would be storing away, and if I don't like it, if I'm over a piece of clothing, like and when I say over it, I mean I'm super grateful for it to have come into my life. I'm super grateful to have used it. I'm super grateful to actually give it away to somebody who would love it even more than I did, or I do at this moment, you know, or in total, or whatever, you know. The whole thing is, I just literally have a bag, just like you would have like a, whatever. So I'm not going to get into it. If you want my secrets, I'll let you know about it. But my whole thing is, it's time to get rid of your clothes that you don't wear, and that would be really powerful for you today. So that's my plan in doing that as I do laundry today. And you know, this way you can kind of feel the success on more of a lighter note, and basically just do what you got to do in terms of, you know, prolonging that feeling for as long as possible, right? Until, you know, even better comes along your way, and then you're able to receive that. So basically it's making room for the better, you know, in your life, which is so awesome. So so good for you that you're experiencing so much success today on either a small scale or on an inner level. That's huge. And basically I'm going to say with this sword here, it's you are aligning or in alignment with your truth. And you're able through all of your decluttering as a prep type of service to yourself, you're going to be able to do a lot of I'm going to say renegotiations with life, like reviewing. I think this is what the reconsider means, is that you're going to be reviewing and considering what you know, maybe most wanted at one point. Maybe it's not what you want now, or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe it's like you thought you didn't want it, but then somehow maybe you kind of do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's something that just that type of, when you prep with the decluttering, you're going to make room and make space for the reevaluation and the review of what needs to happen in your life. So, so just, you know, go with that flow, see how you feel. And if you have any questions, like if I actually closed down a lot of the tarot card readings, but I think what I might be reviewing today is I might come through for emergency readings only for people, because I think that's the best way to get through to people. I think that's also what I really kind of value too, is like when people kind of just need to do something about their life. So I might open up emergency readings and keep it that way. So that's what I'm saying. If you guys feel like you need a reading in terms of like last minuteness, let me know, and I can possibly definitely conjure up something. I think I might do that today, actually. I think I might let that rip, see how that goes. But yeah, so it's so I'm gonna just say I am available, maybe not immediately. So that's what I'm like, that's something that I have to think about. Like maybe starting Monday I'll be available for emergency readings. So we can kind of do that quote unquote on the fly, as like we were saying before, and all of us can actually experience way more success in terms of doing something better with and for your life. So so I think that's what we're gonna do. So starting Monday, I'll put that out there. But for right now, yeah, have a great weekend, enjoy yourself, and do the preparatory work in terms of decluttering. And you know, I might even put out on Monday decluttering readings too, which, like, if you are trying to reconsider, so maybe we're going to call it reconsidering readings or something like that, where it's like if you're reconsidering something but you're kind of doubtful, that's when you would turn to me in my readings, so that we can kind of get you in the right alignment of what you need to be receiving in your life, right? So so it's like, oh, I'm reconsidering this, should I not, and maybe you need somebody to turn to, like, as in this deck of cards for the answers. Like, you know, I might just put that service out there on, you know, come Monday, or like I'll put it out today, but come Monday we'll kind of do those services. So yeah, so be sure to follow me. All right, guys, and thank you so much for everything, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.